Mm, so let's go ahead. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh wow, I forgot to do quite a few things. Go ahead and take advantage of that. And where is my last application here? There we go. Okay, that should be it. All right, let's jump on to these scans. There, I think I got everything. Actually, before we could jump onto the scans, let's go ahead and look at the news real quick. All right, first starting out over here at the FMOC. Today is the first day of November. It is the week before some pretty significant events. When we think about the election and what's coming up next week, it's gonna be crazy. This week, coming in, well, we'll look into the scans in just a minute, but let's look here first. November 1st, Friday. What's coming out today? We got the commercial paper at 1 p.m. Foreign exchange rates, selected interest rates, and assets and liabilities of commercial banks, which happens every Friday. So nothing crazy on the FOMC radar. Over here at Yahoo, let's see what they got. U.S. economy adds 12,000 jobs in big miss. Recent hurricanes and a worker strike at Boeing added to a murky picture of labor market at a key time. Okay. Um, let's jump over to our scans. And so what I'm seeing, I see Amazon is up 6%. Intel is up, which I don't like. I want it to continue to fall. SOXL and TQQ. Let's also look at the NQ overall. NQ, where are you? NQ right there. Okay. So NQ overall picture. So we know it made a massive move down this week. And it's crazy it made this move. Whoops. What did I just do? It's crazy it made this move before the election week. Huge move down. So I'm thinking that it is definitely going to create some indecision coming into next week as to where it wants to go from here. It's sitting on 20K, you know, breaking down 20K. I mean, without news, it's like, we really don't know what's going on. But next week there's going to be a lot of news, and I think there's supposed to be more earnings next week too, um, coming out during that time, and the interest rates. All of that's happening next week, so I'm thinking it's going to be quite crazy, coming in. Let's also look at Amazon, which is up 6%. It did a move where it fell on yesterday, then came from 185 all the way back up to 199 during the after hours. So let's go look and see what kind of news came out, or was it just earnings? Let me jump over to NASDAQ. AMD, AMZN, Amazon. Amazon.com announced its third quarter results, and that was 17 hours ago. So right around the afternoon-ish area, they dropped news, and I guess they were good. Let's go look at it. Net sales increased 11% to 158.9 billion in the third quarter, compared to 143.1 billion in the third quarter 2023. So 11% increase. North America segment sales increased 9%. International segment sales increased 12%. AWS, which is their cloud service, sales 19% year over year. So definitely some increases in Amazon. Of course, Amazon is a huge company. They're constantly adding services, so that's no surprise. Let me look at why Intel jumped up though. Let's see Intel. Intel. Let's see. 17 hours ago, same thing. All right, so third quarter revenue for of 13.3 billion. Third quarter GAAP earnings loss per share, EPS attributable attributable to Intel was all this. Okay, make it make sense. Intel, final, blah, blah, blah. Okay, is this good or bad? It's making significant progress on plan to deliver 10 billion in cost reductions in 2025. Okay, so they've been overspending, it seems, or maybe overpaying. I don't know which one, but looks like some people are gonna get cut in 2025, depending on. I guess everything is kind of riding on next week, where the election goes and things like that. A lot of things have kind of slowed up or become choppy, and a lot of indecision. Also, DJT, the Trump stock, I saw that one going down as well. It's down 7% on today. Remember, it had ran up to $58, and now it's down to $32 coming into the week of. So looks like, just looking at the charts, looks like some confidence, or I don't know if it's confidence or profit taking. I don't know what caused this drop, but some people taking some money off the table before election day, and we don't know what's going to happen. It could gap up, could gap down, but I'm sure those folks don't want to get caught up in, not having any profit taken. Let's look at what else we got here. Back over here, I'm looking at news updates, live news. Let's see. U.S. economy adds 12,000 jobs in October. U.S. non-farm payrolls for October. Non-farm payrolls, October 20K versus 106K estimate. That's way under, isn't it? Wait a minute. Non-farm payrolls for October 12K versus 106K estimate. 220. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Maybe it's not enough information here. Private non-farms revised. Okay, so they brought their payrolls down for farming. Average hourly earnings month over month, plus 0.4% versus the 0.3% estimate. Private non-farm payrolls, okay, minus 28K. Okay, cool. So payrolls came down a little bit. They added 12,000 jobs, apparently. Don't know where they added them, but yeah. Let's see, hurricane strikes. U.S. economy experienced almost no job growth in October, as the pace of employment creation slowed to its lowest level since December 2020. This downturn likely reflects the impact of hurricane disruptions, strikes in manufacturing, and election-related uncertainties, all of which affected hiring nationwide. Total non-farm profits, okay, grew to 12,000, whatever. Okay, so jobs are down. October was a very low hiring month. Let me jump over here and make sure I did not set this up. Oh, I always forget to do this. Let me set this up real quick. Fridays, I'm just chilling on Friday for real. I'm so chill. I'm like, man, it's whatever. Let's see, thumbs. But I think that's how Friday should be, right? Come to the end of the week. Next week is going to be an absolute tornado. It's just like, let me get my mind ready by just starting to chill out right now. All right, so now let's jump back over to the charting. Amazon. Good morning, good morning. U.S. oil. Let's look at U.S. oil. J Boogie 301. Looking at U.S. oil, let's look at /CL, I believe it is, crude oil. It is up on today, and it is lifting coming into the election. So a lot of times, there's a lot of indicators of what's coming, and also the seasonal change as well. We're heading into, November, December, January, February, into the winter months. So oil prices usually come up during this time. Now I can say on this chart right here, this 15-minute chart, I see this big old gap. So there was a gap down from 71 down here to 68.91, and it looks like it's coming up to fill this gap back up to 71. Um, so oil definitely one of the I know the small caps we traded INDO for some oil movement. We traded Hussa back in the past for oil movement. There's oil. I think it's called oil itself. Is this it? Am I tripping? I thought it was oil. Maybe that's the wrong symbol. Maybe that is the wrong symbol. Yeah, but yeah, we trade a couple of small caps when dealing with oil. Now for oil, I usually am looking for dividend oil stocks. Things like that's the wrong symbol. I think ECC is one of them. It pays dividends and is highly into oil, but it's like a Brazil stock. It moves quite well with oil, and it pays a dividend, so you're getting paid to wait. What's another oil dividend stock? I'm thinking of energy stocks, not oil stocks. I was thinking about LBTR, which is but that I think that's a nuclear. Is it LBTR LTBR? LTBR. Light Bridge. That one went up to 14 bucks. This one is an energy stock though. But yeah, oil, energy, all of those. We'll see how the rest of the energy market does, but I don't think we're going to see any significant moves this week. But next week, I'm thinking, Jay Boogie says Trump wants to sell the oil beneath our feet, so it's going to skyrocket if he wins. He wants to sell the oil beneath our feet, so oil is going to skyrocket if he wins. Um, well, so we import a lot of oil, right? And there's a cost of import. If we're using the oil under our feet, there's no we don't have to the cost is lower. So I don't know if that would translate into higher prices or lower prices because the cost is lower because it's not having to cross borders, it's not riding on a ship. I mean, it may ride on a ship, but it'll be in the U.S. already. It doesn't have to go through clearances. It doesn't have to go through a lot of the security measures that a lot of the imports have to go through. So I don't know if that's going to raise prices if we use oil that's already here in the U.S. Kind of like if you buy locally, a lot. If there's a lot of demand for local products, those products can go down. If they're local products and they're never getting bought, those products just sit there. And it's like, oh, they're not going to get used anyway. But I don't know. Cost is lower, but he wants to sell it. Yeah, he wants to sell it to other countries that need oil. So they would pay for the oil probably a higher price than U.S. citizens. Probably, I would suspect. But yeah, oil could go either way. I think what's the highest oil price we've seen per barrel? I think it got up to like 100 or something at one point. Let me go over here and look. Okay, this was 147 back in 2008, which was the pretty hard time back in the day. Let's see, and then it went up to 120 during. So this was COVID. It dropped down to $6 per barrel, and then it went all the way up 2021, 22, 22, 2023 up to 123, and then came back down and has been settling around $80, 70, $80 per barrel. So it's came down here and made a little what do I call it, support level down here around 66s, 67s multiple times. It's kind of sitting near to it, but I think this could even cause some indecision, right? It could, if a breakdown of this level, if oil prices do fall for some reason because of news from next week, breaking down to 67, that will be making new lows that haven't been made in quite a while. Because this first low right here was made in June 2023, held up June 2024. all the way to now 2024. And if that breaks down and oil prices start going down, that's going to be major, you know. And but it takes a while for those those prices or those movements to be felt at the pump. Even if it does drop, it's going to take a while for it to kind of trickle down to regular people. Um, Making the stock go up, yeah, absolutely. Mm. We'll see though. It's a two-way street for sure. If we're bringing everything back to the U.S., I don't know. It would be, I mean, it'd definitely be creating jobs. There's already a lot of people working. They make a lot of money on oil rigs and working offshore and stuff like that. They make a lot of money, but it's a dangerous line of work. And so, yeah, you could create some jobs, give people more opportunities to extract what's here. It's not like there's nothing here. It's a lot of things to extract. We just import it all, or not import it all. We import a lot of it. But we'll see. We don't want another. Definitely don't want to increase the chances of having another like BP event where we have oil spills and all that stuff, um, polluting the oceans and stuff. I think that there's some higher protections or provisions for things like that now that are in place, so we'll be even better prepared to do more and produce more here. But I don't know. Plus, with I'm starting to see more and more of those cyber trucks on the road, Elon cyber trucks, and I'm wondering, are we just gonna go all electric? Seeing those things roll around like tanks down the street. And I'm in Mississippi, so I don't know where y'all are at, but yeah, if they're getting them here in Mississippi, we're the last to do pretty much everything. So I know they gotta be other places as well rolling around. Now I have not tried to throw a rock at the window because I don't want to get sued or shot. So I don't know what the protection system is on that. But and, I mean they look like tanks, you know. Anyway, let's jump back over here. Let's see. Jay Boogie says, yeah, definitely big on U.S. manufacturing if he wins. Yep. And they've already been. I know in Arizona, they brought Taiwanese instructors in to start working on the to up the production of semiconductors in the U.S. So they brought those in Arizona. I know that they did a lot of talk about nuclear power and why the U.S. hasn't really capitalized on nuclear power, nuclear fission sites and development like other parts of country, other parts of the world that have gone fully nuclear. So it's a lot of energy resources that we definitely have not tapped into here. Um, that could reduce the overall cost of what we do on a day-to-day basis, powering cities and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of plans, a lot of um, as we watch the debates and everything, as they go through the debates, I really wish they would just focus on like what are the solutions that they're going into and what are the actual implications of their policies. That would be dope. But I just look it up myself and see what policies are in there because it's just hard to get information out of either one of them. I mean, it's hard to get significant information. You get like little tidbits. It's like, oh yeah, we're doing X, Y, and Z, or oh yeah, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, but like how? I'm a how person and a why person. I need to know how and why, and that makes me make it make sense in my brain because my brain is a why and how brain. So, you know. But and I love to see the numbers, man. Show me what you got. Show me your future predictions, because that's what I do. Data analytics and things like that. I want to see the numbers, man. Show me the numbers. Um, but yeah. today. It is 8:20. We have about 10 minutes to the bell. Jay Boogie says because they know China about to take Taiwan. LLA. Well, Taiwan is one of those places where a lot of people have tried to take control and all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be able to. China has its own set of issues right now. They're trying to repopulate China and repopulate a lot of their cities and things. They're having some issues with population. They need to crank it on out, crank it on up. It's a big place, big piece of land, but if you look at like Russia in comparison, their population growth per town, per city, whatever, a lot of the populations are getting older. So, yeah, they're going to have to do something to keep that same mindset or idealism alive because, you know, going to have to do something. But, it's all fun and games until things hit the fan, as it were. But I mean, if we that's another thing. Making some of this stuff in the US would eliminate having to be so, what's the word? Be so prompt to send, like, be like, oh no, they're trying to take out Taiwan. Let's send, X, Y, and Z because we have to save something for it's like, bro, we could do it. If we're gonna save them, we're gonna save them because we just, don't want you to have it, right? Not because we're dependent on something they produce, but we just don't want you to have it. It's like we're sending the ships right now. We're on the way. And that's another thing with the US policing all of the, you know, um passageways, policing all of the waterways and things like that. It's like, bruh, it's a lot of work. But we sending them just because we don't want you to have them. That's all. Exactly, Jay Boogie. And so, being that dependent, being a world power and being that dependent on other people, is it a good thing though? Like, we're like, oh yeah, we got super powerful army, super powerful technologies, infrastructure, definitely. Especially even though we complain about the roads and stuff. Now I know here in Mississippi we have a place called Jackson that some of the roads are definitely not desirable. You could probably build a house or a complex in some of the potholes, but some places are really really good, and still better than some third world countries. You have signs and laws and regulations that are abided by. Some places, you can have a stop sign, but they're driving through it. You can have X, Y, and Z, but it's more like a observation. It's like there was a stop sign, but I'm still going. Instead of there's a stop sign, let me stop because there's consequences. You know. So as far as infrastructure, how the highways are set up, how the interstates are set up, all that stuff, it's top tier. Even though we complain about it, I think we complain about it a lot. To be honest, we complain. It's our default setting is to complain, and then afterwards, it's like, well, we look into another place or another spot, and it's like, we don't have it so bad. You know, yes, things are definitely too expensive for sure, but I think that if we can move some of our concentration back into producing more than just policing, that would be very, and also just produce products that other people want. A lot of times we look at these sites like Timu and all these, sites like this, and it's like, I mean, we could do that. We just don't. We could do that. We just are like, you know what? Let's just order it. It's cheaper. We could do it, but they're selling cheap phone cases, cheap everything. And if it breaks, we just buy it again because it's cheap. We got about 4 minutes until the open. Amazon still sitting up here, just looking real shaky here. Intel, let's see, Intel, where you at? I just want Intel to fall, man. I'm so ready for it to fall. I'm sorry buying it up, man. But it just won't fall. But I'm gonna be patient because while I'm waiting, I'm building up funds to buy more. So when it falls, I'm like, yes, sir. Because the lowest that Intel has been, I think, is down here at what, $11. So in 2000, it was at $75, fell down to 11, came back up, fell down to 11. This was way before I was doing anything with trading, and I didn't start trading until right 2016 up in here. And so it's been back up to the 64s, came back down to 21. And I've already got it marked out looking down here towards these $15 levels, stuff like that. It does pay a dividend as well. So I'm just waiting, waiting, waiting. And right now they're trying to get their financial situation under wraps. Trying to reduce costs. IT is a space where people get paid a lot of money for sure. But you just have to, when people start getting cut out of IT, it usually goes from the top down. So it's like the people that are making X, Y, and Z and all the way up the Richter scale, especially from one job, you got to be careful. You got to have something else that you're doing because you may not have that position. And most people that have a position, it's not like they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna reduce your pay." They're gonna be like, "Nah, I want to go somewhere else." It's like, okay, the Googles of the world, Facebook, those top level folks that really aren't getting their hands dirty anymore. They're really just kind of administration. Yeah, that's where you can get messed up. Go from making, a couple $100,000 to zero. And that's why it's good to invest because if you do lose that job, you can still pretty much supplement your income with dividends or some type of real estate payments or something like that. So I would say if you're making a good amount of money, hey, just go ahead and prepare for the worst. Prepare for, in IT we call it the big O, the worst thing that can happen. You know. All right, we have a minute and 20 seconds left. And right now, I don't see any small caps that have popped up. I'm sure we'll have some. And on Fridays, we usually have random pop ups. So like maybe they're not moving pre-market, but then they just shoot. And we'll see what kind of activity we get here. I'm wondering, do I need to read? It says Biden responding to October jobs data says job growth is expected to rebound in November as there's more work to do, says hurricanes strike. And this just popped up on the news for me. Biden responds to October jobs data. He says there's more work to do, strike activity, lower job growth. Okay, we know that. All right, so we're about to get the updated, and I might restart my TOS. I'm using Thinkorswim. Sometimes at the open, I'll restart it, and it actually skips the whole 15-minute wait to update the scans. So that's what I might do here. We got 13 seconds left, but it needs to start. The market needs to open before I do it. We can look through these though. We'll start with Intel. It's the biggest mover over 5 with 7 million shares traded. There's the ATRs. ATR high up here at 23, 27. ATR low down here at 20. Wow. Already testing the lows down there. Let's jump to Amazon as well. ATR high at 200. ATR low at 198.17. Let me restart this. I'm pretty sure I'm missing some small caps here. But yeah, TOS has been good. It's a free software. It does have some hiccups, especially when it comes to the open. So many requests, so many HTTPS requests, people taking trades, people getting out of trades, selling. just a lot goes on. So I usually just restart it, bring it up, and it's good to go for the day. It will update on its own, but this just kind of speeds it up so we don't have to wait, 15 minutes. 15 minutes for the update. What is ATR is the average true range. Average true range, and usually it is calculated on the last 60 days of whatever time chart that you're looking at. So, and there is a little small cap mover TOVX, but I don't know. Donnell says scans looking lame. TOVX ATR high up here at 231, ATR low down here at the 205s. But ATR is the average true range over the last 60 candles. So on this 15-minute chart, you would count 60 of these candles and it'll give you the average high and low of the price action, right? So ATR, like, let me go over to the daily chart. The daily chart really gives us what we need. So over here, you can see the ATR for TOVX per day is 26 cents. So an average of 26 cents of movement per day is what it does. Now, the way that I use ATR is to see how much range. Let's say if it's doing a dot. Well, let's jump over here to the scans. Um, Amazon has an ATR of $4.82. So it moves on average $4.82 per day. And that does not mean in one direction. That means it could be, doing up and down, it could be doing all that. But out of that, how much profit could you capture from something that's moving $4.82 per day? If we jump over here to the chart on Amazon, we can see it bounced down here, ATR low, but did not break. And now it is up here to the ATR high, looking like it wants to do some type of breakout. The ATR high is 99.96 and it's holding right there at it. It needs to break that level and start to prove that it has strength to the upside. One thing that we can do to gauge this is look at the ENQ. So the ENQ is, let me pull up where did the ENQ go? Did I delete that? Oh my God. Spy. Did I accidentally delete it? I am tripping. Okay, so let me put that back in. ENQ. There we go. Okay. ENQ right here. So looking at this ENQ, we can see how after the fall that it had from yesterday, 20,400 down here to 20,000 kind of flat, it is kind of in indecision between its ATRs. ATR high here is the 20,009 or 20,097.73 cents right there, and this does adjust. So you can see how it forms a little curve here. The reason why is it's constantly counting the last 60 bars. So when it makes a new bar, it's a new average on the 15-minute. And that's why I use the 15-minute for just like day trades. But on the bigger time frame, we can go over here and see the actual ATR per day of the NQ is $298.83 on average per day. So, and again, that's not in one direction. It could be up, down, it could stay in consolidation, but moving that amount per day. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I capture a percentage of that? Like if it's moving, like we looked at Amazon that's moving $4.82 per, where's my calculator? If we're looking at Amazon that moves $4.82 per day, how do I capture a percentage of this? So let's say if I want to capture 25% of this, I'll say times 0.25. And let's say I want to capture $1.20. Well, how do I put that into a plan? Do I use $1.20 as a stop and buy low and sell high? Let's say if I risk $1.20, that's a lot of risk, right? And so this is why you can't just use the ATR, because you have to have a pretty good entry on low risk where it's holding above that level, it's showing proven support, and then you're saying, okay, once we get here, I've captured 25 or 25% of whatever the ATR is. This is why trading something like that has a 20-cent ATR is so difficult, because let's say we want to capture 25% of 20 cents. That is 5 cents. So are you okay with taking 5 cents in profit? That's pretty much what you have to be okay with. It's easier to make this move, and that's why a lot of big time day traders, they do trade the cheaper stocks, because it's a easier move when it comes to, like, you know, looking at a cent gain. But are you going to be satisfied with taking that? Right? Are you satisfied with 5 cent wins? Are you trading big enough size to be satisfied with 5 cent wins? So how much would you need to make $100 on a 5 cent win? Let's see. So if we had 1,000 shares times zero point 0.5, that's $50. Okay. So we will need what, 1,500 times 5? $75. 2,000 shares times 0.05 will leave us with $100. So on a cheaper stock, can it make a 5 cent move is the first question, hopefully. And because it may not go all in one direction, it may pull back, it may chop you up, X, Y, and Z. Right now in the NQ, we're seeing a little bit of chop back and forth, and it's in consolidation. It hasn't made a choice. What I look at is like, okay, ATR high, ATR low. Once it breaks out of one of these levels, I'm thinking, okay, this thing is actually bullish or actually bearish on the day. But for now, it's just in between, and we can see it's getting forced back within the ATR high and low. This pink line right here going across the screen is the point of control. Basically, it's where the majority of the trades have happened during this trading segment or period, which started yesterday in aftermarket. So futures open up at close at 4. For me, they close at 4, open up at 5. I don't know what time they open up for you, but it starts trading at nighttime and does all these movements, and then into the open we see it come out here. And right now it's just looking like a big consolidation, so not too intoxicating. Back over to TOVX, popping out of the ATR high up here, which was the 235, coming back in. Yeah, so that one's moving a little crazy. It has a ATR of 29 cents. Yeah, 29 cents. Let's do the math here. So ATR of 0.29 times, let's say we want to do 25% of this move. That's 7 cents. So right now, we can see that it broke out of here, 234 all the way up here to 261. That was, if we look back at the calculation, 7 cents, how much more is that? So 35 up to 65, that's like 30 cents. So 30 divided by 7, it did 4 times what the profit expectation was, right? So to capture that 25%, it did almost 4.5 times what we were expecting. But the problem is, look at this pullback. You get in, you cannot be greedy here. You get in, it goes up here, and now you snap back 30 cents against yourself. That's the issue. So a lot of times when you find something with a bigger ATR, you'll see more of a move in one direction than these big old snapbacks. Now that's not universal. Snapbacks can happen anywhere, but the bigger those prices, the more money is moving in and out, especially after they get over maybe like $5, where prop traders really like to trade. That's where you see those big holds where they'll go up and they'll hold up here and they'll continue to move higher. Now TOVX, I did not look at the news on this one. Let's look at the news real quick. TOVX, come here, boy. Come here. All right, this is Theriva Biologics. And I use NASDAQ.com to get to this and use the press releases. I like to see what the actual company is putting out, not so much the post that anybody with an opinion can post. So Theriva Biologics selected as finalists in international competition for Merck KGaA's EMEA Advanced Biotech Grant. And it's the same news there. That was 17 hours ago. Let's click into this grant. How much money is this grant? Okay, advanced grant. Where are the numbers? How much is the grant? It looks like they're working on some type of cancer type. I see tumor cells, aggressively within tumor cells, oncolytic adenovirus. So this is tumor and cancer probably catalyst. I don't know how much that grant is though. Let's go back to the other news real quick. 33 the biologics. How much is this grant? Okay, so celebrate standout emerging biotech companies and winners receive financial support and guidance on navigating their path. Not really. So I maybe it's not a concrete grant where it's like you know how much it's going to be. You're just going to receive funding. So you know, NQ just ripped back up. Let's look at the NQ real quick. It just did a nice little rip back up. So it was trading around the ATR, struggled down here, and now pushing all the way up here to the 21 20,146. One of the stocks that I trade with this is SOXL. SOXL goes up when the market is going up. SOXS goes up when the market is going down. It is the inverse. This is XOXL right now, breaking over this ATR high as well. So it is going up with the market. It has a high up here of 31.17 and looking okay right there. Let's look back at the NQ. NQ. If the NQ rips back down though, SOXL will go on down with it, but it is above the ATR high right now. So at this point, I'll be using the ATR as an out for if it breaks down. Be like, okay, if it breaks down, it's 2,100, whatever, I got to be out. Now remember, the ATR day to day on the NQ is $298. So the open was right here at 830. It's only moved from 2057 up to 2,100 and something. So like $100 move right there. And we'll see if it just wants to chop around or does it want to actually make a move or what is it trying to do before the end of the week. Now it is Friday, first day of the month as well. After this big drop off, we'll have to see. I don't really know how high it wants to go, but Fridays are kind of weird. We should see some type of random pop-ups. But yeah, that is my Friday analysis. Basically looking around, looking through all of this stuff. Oh, my bad. Jay Boogie says NQ. So the NQ is the E-mini, basically. If you ever heard of people trading futures, they say, hey, we're trading the E-mini or, NASDAQ 100, that kind of thing. The NQ is a major indicator of market strength. So the NQ, if we're looking at this thing come up right now, um, it basically reacts very heavily to things like um, interest rate reports, CPI reports, just different financial material that is going to affect a lot of the population. Um, and so the EQ, I mean, I said the EQ, the NQ, the E-minis, and some of those futures are predicting future value. And if you look over here on my scans, you can look at the name here on the description, E-mini, NASDAQ 100 Index Futures. So what is the future beholding, right? Is the future bleak? Is the future bullish? Is it bearish? What? Why is the E-minis acting like it's acting? And so if you can gauge what's going on in the overall market, you can trade the things that follow this or inverse this. So that brings up another thing, which is called beta score. So your beta score goes from -5 to +5. And so the more negative your beta is, the more inversely it follows this market. So anything that's an inverse, so let me pull up SOXS, which is the inverse of this. SOXS is doing the exact opposite of the market right now. It is the inverse. So when the market is going down, I'm looking to trade this because I don't short, I just go long. So I would go long on SOXS to if the market is dumping, basically, and it'll be going up. Jump back over to NQ here. Yeah. It's one of those things like if you pull up Investopedia or something like that and be like, hey, what is ATR or what is the E minis or something like that, it can explain it. But I mean, I guess I'm just saying it quickly. But the EQs as an index, it holds a bunch of assets within itself. And so those assets, whether they're connected to industrial, consumer discretion, consumer staples, utilities, whatever those assets are connected to, as they move within the NQ, they move the value of the NQ up and down. So it's like NQ isn't just one stock or one thing. It's an accumulation of things within a vehicle. So all of these are just vehicles. And basically, the more exposure that you have, the more powerful the indication is from that um, vehicle or instrument, right? And so that's why the NQ is so powerful, because it has a lot of exposure all over the market. But anyway, I got to get to my morning meeting. As for Friday, I'm just coming in, letting y'all know what I see. But next week is going to be crazy. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. But yeah, elections, interest rates, all this stuff crashing out. So I would say, yeah, definitely be in. I don't know if in expectation, be in. I don't know what to be in, man. I'm uncertain within myself what is going to happen next week. Let me look at DJT. DJT is Donald Trump stock. It was coming down, dropped yesterday, 41 down here to 34, coming on down to almost to 30 flat, and now it is back up to 35. So I don't know what's going on. Me and Lori, we were talking about this earlier this week or last week or something about, the initial news from the election could, even if it's good news, let's say if Trump wins, even if it's good news, this could drop, which is crazy, right? I'm just on this one. The people that made money on this one, they probably got in around $13 and rode it out. But look at this big move down from the 58 all the way to this 30 here. This is some major people are taking profit. And I don't know why they're taking profit, but either they're in expectation, just uncertainty of what's going to happen, which I think is the most case, but I just don't know. It's a nice little sell off, but next week we're going to see what happens, and we're going to have to trade accordingly. Anyway, TOVX, huge rip back into the ATR, so right into consolidation. Hasn't really chosen, did not hold out either direction. Back down to 49% now. So that was the only small capper that was moving. One of the things that is dropping that is a dividend stock here is DBRG. I don't know why I see this one dropping, but it pays the dividend. I will slap that on a watch list to go and research DBRG. I don't know what that is, but it's at $12.81 now. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to my morning meeting. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, definitely hit the like, subscribe. I'm trading on I'm streaming on multiple platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, and another YouTube channel. So you may find me anywhere. So but yeah, that is it for me today. And as always, keep your head on the swivel. You're gonna be trading today. And get ready for next week, man. The hurricane is a coming. Another hurricane is a coming, and it's not. It may not be a physical one. It may be a political one. But anyway, that is it for today. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one on Monday morning. Peace.